This is the screencast for section 2.7, example 6. We're going to find a minimum perimeter. So the word minimum should clue you in that we're going to come up with some sort of equation that will change from decreasing to increasing, and we're going to use our calculator to find that minimum. So find the dimensions of the rectangle with minimum perimeter if its area is 200 square meters. Now that seems almost too simple. It's hard. Word problems are sometimes too complicated and wordy, and sometimes they're too simple and don't give you enough information. All right, this time I know a lot about rectangles. Well, I know that the area of a rectangle is length times width. So if we call it, and I know the area has to equal 200. So if we call its length x, its width is going to have to be 200 divided by x. For example, what if its length was 10? Wouldn't you know that its width was then 20, because 10 times 20 is 200? And you got 20 by 200 divided by 10. So if I gave you that the length was 5, you would take 200 divided by 5 to find the width. Now the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times its length plus 2 times its width. So that's going to be 2x plus 400 over x. So now I'm going to calculate my minimum. So now I can see the minimum is at 14.14 and then 56.57 or 56.57. So what does that mean? Well, my x value in my calculator, I programmed it so that x represented the length. So the length is 14.14, what is it? Meters. The perimeter was the y value that came out of my function because I plugged in the perimeter equation. So this would be the perimeter, 56.57 meters. Which means then that the width is going to be 200 divided by 14.14, which in my calculator I want that to be exact, so I'm going to do 200 divided by my x value. Oh, I get 14.14 again. That must have been a square. So 14.14 meters. The problem asked for what the least perimeter was, so the answer to this question is 56.57 meters, the least perimeter. The length and the width that got us there, though, was 14.14 meters each. The now try problem is number 35. Consider all rectangles with an area of 182 square feet. Okay, so if their area is 182 square feet, I know that area equals length times width. So if the area is 182, one of them, let's call the length, is going to, let x be the length of one side. Okay, so we'll call the length x. That means the width is going to be 182 divided by x. So now the perimeter of this rectangle is going to be 2 x's, 2 lengths, plus 2 widths, which is 2x plus 364 over x. So now I can find the dimensions of the rectangle that have the least perimeter, and I can also find what the least perimeter is. All of that is being asked by question B. So I put my perimeter equation into y1, I found a good window, and I can see that my minimum is 13.49, comma 53.96. So far I've got the length, because that was what I called x, which I inputted into my calculator as the input variable x. My length is 13.49 feet. Then my perimeter was the output of the function that I plugged into y1. So the perimeter, the least perimeter, is 53.96 feet. And then I'm going to use my calculator to take the total area, 182, and divide that by the x value that my calculator is actually on right now. And I get 13.49 again, which means the width is 13.49 feet. So again, this least perimeter must be a square. Do you see a pattern here?